Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope I'm finding you well today. Today we're going to be doing a different topic other than Barbie.
Ooh, scandalous!
I know, I too am quite surprised by it. Today we're going to be restoring an American Girl doll. Now this could be a great tutorial for you if you have a doll of your own that needs to be restrung, maybe washed, and maybe have her hair done. I hope you all will stick around and hang around with me. And if you're not familiar with the American Girl dolls, I can give a brief history about that, as well as teach you how to restore them in case you find them out there in the wild. Now this restoration did not take me very long at all. Like this will take you an afternoon should you find one of these dolls, depending like on how dirty and how bad it is. But all in all, like it's a pretty easy restoration. So I hope you all can follow along and I hope you all enjoy the video.
Picture it. Sicily, 1922.
American Girl dolls are some of the most endearing and popular dolls to have been released in the past 40 years. What seemed to have been just dolls you could only buy in a catalog have turned into a brand almost as popular as Barbie. It's a company that started with the best intentions that's still going strong today. Back in the 1980s, after a trip to Colonial Williamsburg, Pleasant Rowland, an educator and writer, was inspired by all of the historical exhibits that she had just visited. She wrote down in a postcard to her friend, writer Valerie Tripp, about a series of dolls and books about 9-year-old girls growing up in different times in history, and the stories would reflect on the important moments of girlhood and how it changed and how it stayed the same over the years. Each character / doll would be from a different time in American history, with historically inspired outfits and accessories for each doll, as well as corresponding outfits for little girls to wear to match their doll. What Pleasant Rowland was trying to sell was an immersive experience, something that you could not only have fun playing with, but something that you could also learn from, which consequently was a corner of the toy industry that had not been tapped into yet. And luckily enough for her and everyone else who loves them, they were a success, with her making $1 million in sales in just the first year. And that, my friends, is the American dream. With one postcard, she created a brand that not only teaches us all about history, but also teaches us how to love and how to be kind, something that I hope we Americans never forget how to be. In each of their books, they show resilience and strength, almost symbolic to their American heritage. And the company is not without its own controversies. But when I think about the American girls, and I think about the children who played with them, I can only think of love. Thank you, Pleasant Rowland, for giving that gift of learning to so many children around the world. You were such a crucial part of my childhood and so many others. American Girl has definitely changed over the years, but one thing remains: the love they put into their dolls and storytelling. Because of the brand, I've experienced love from a sister and love from a friend. An experience I'll never forget.
Shall we begin?
I just got something really special from Shop Goodwill for $12.99. She was listed as a porcelain doll in a group of other porcelain dolls. She is an American Girl Kaya doll. She looks identical to my older sister's Kaya doll. Back in Christmas, my sister and I got something really special from Santa. We each got our brand new American Girl doll historical characters. I got Kit and she got Kaya. My sister got a lot of Kaya's things. She got Kaya's jingle dress, she got Kaya's winter outfit, she got Kaya's trading outfit, and she also got Kaya's horse and Kaya's accessories. I got Kit, I got her meat accessories, and I got her Christmas outfit. Now, I was considerably younger than my sister.
Why, she's nothing but a child.
So I honestly was way too young to own an American Girl, but my mother knew that I had to have one because if not, I was going to pester her and my sister throughout the entire year until I got one of my own, which was very nice of her to think about me. As you can see, this doll has kind of like seen it, and I used to shop American Girl items on Shop Goodwill all the time, like pre-COVID, because not a lot of people knew about Shop Goodwill, so you could get a lot of good deals on there, and you could find a lot of 90s Pleasant Company dolls on there too. That's where I got like my first Molly, my first Kirsten, and a lot of my other first American Girl historical characters, which I love collecting, by the way. It's like another part of my collection outside of Barbie. This doll is really special to me because I've been looking for my own Kaya, as I was never allowed to play with my sister's Kaya. My sister protected her American Girls, but she also played a lot more with them, so that was fair. And she, in turn, actually ruined them. I ruined my Kit doll within 30 minutes of having her because I took her sledding, and we sled down a hill, and it was made of pavement, and I fell off the sled, and so did Kit, and Kit slid down the pavement hill on her nose and had a scuff until I eventually fixed it like 20 years later. Let's just say I was not allowed to touch my sister's American Girl dolls. This doll is going to be special to me because this is going to be my Kaya. This is going to be a doll that I have always wanted to play with and always wanted to explore, and I feel really special given that opportunity now to be able to do so. But before I'm able to really hug her and squeeze her and call her George, we're gonna have to clean her up. Now you can't really see in this lighting, it's very warm, but she is kind of dirty, but she also looks to be like never played with. Her hair accessories have never been touched or been out of her hair, and you can tell that just by looking at the wig and how even the braid is. And the black elastics in her hair are now starting to disintegrate, so they're flying everywhere. And the whole reason, again, like I feel like this doll is an early one is because her loose limbs. Dolls from this era of Mattel American Girl dolls usually are found nowadays, like from the early 2000s, with really loose limbs. And you can find 90s Pleasant Company dolls untouched with still tight joints, but this era of Mattel must be the elastics that they were using in the factory, and they're all just like falling to bits. So in this video, we are not only going to be washing up this American Girl doll, we are also going to be tightening up her joints and giving her some new elastics. Looking at her right now, like she really doesn't seem to have that many issues. Again, I don't really feel like this poor doll was ever played with. My sister's doll, and if I didn't already restore it, I think that it would have been hysterical for you all to see it, but it's already restored, so I'll show it at the end. But my sister cut this doll's hair. My sister gave it like a small choppy look, and she would play cheerleader with them, all of our American Girl dolls, and she would like twist their joints because even then, like they were getting pretty loose, and she would twist them to the point of where their limbs would be super tight, so that way she could do like back handsprings with them and like do some other cheerleader moves and stuff, which eventually in turn made them all, you know, even worse than what they would have been. So really, their limbs were just hanging on for dear life. And in high school, I retook an interest into doll collecting again. Some of the first dolls that I saved from being donated to Goodwill were our American Girl dolls. And our American Girl dolls were in the worst shape ever. And ever since then, I have been working on American Girl dolls and restoring them and making them look pretty and good as new.
I'm a professional woman.
So we've got Kaya all undressed, and as you can see, like, oh my god, she's like gorgeous. And something that I'd like to note, this right here, something that's gonna happen, you see that that's actually pleather mixed with buckskin. But check that out. Oh, it's cracking. Isn't that sad? It's happening to my sister's dolls as well because, again, it's pleather, and pleather doesn't last forever. This is 100% real buckskin. And they like to be as historically accurate, at least they used to be, as possible. Also, one thing too, these are real little shells, which is so beautiful. Just such a nice touch. And I went to the American Girl store, which, by the way, I live really close to. So if you all would like to see like another American Girl doll store tour, let me know. I have no problem going there. I actually want to go there to get a couple things.
Naughty, naughty girl.
I just find it so interesting that these are real. And when I went in, I saw some newer Kaya dolls. And let me tell you, This is no longer real buckskin. It is a synthetic material, and these are no longer real shells. They are just plastic. And the Kaya dolls themselves, like, they're still very beautiful, but they don't have that same feel as these original dolls used to have, which kind of seems to be the trend that's going on right now. Because if you really think about it, American Girl doll prices have not changed prices in over 20 years. And everything else in the toy industry has. So they've tried their best to keep them at the same price, as that way they're not trying to price people out. But American Girl is, at the end of the day, a luxury brand. They are a statement piece. So, you know, I personally wouldn't mind paying more if I got more quality than paying the same price and getting less quality, if that makes sense. And that's the same that goes with like Barbie and everything. Like, I would rather pay more as a consumer and get something that's really good than getting something that's less than what used to be available to the public. Now that my little rant is over, I think it is time that we get started. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take off Kaya's head and her limbs.
Let's go home and play.
And you might be wondering why I'm doing this, and it's because she needs to be restrung anyway, because she can do quite the dance as it is. And it's also a lot easier for me to just restore them as they're in pieces and then restring them again, rather than just leaving them as is. So the way to get off her head, actually, so a lot of these earlier American Girl dolls will have neck strings where you can actually untie them and then just take the head off. And once the head's off, then I can go into the body itself and start taking apart the limbs. So I've got a little container here, and I'm just going to put all of Kaya's stuffing in this container. And this doll, for the most part, is pretty clean. She's not very dirty, so I don't think that I'm going to have to actually clean the stuffing at all, but we'll see. So this doll had way more stuffing than probably what you ever thought, but a lot of the early Mattel American Girl dolls, they all were stuffed very well. So you will see the elastic right here that is actually holding it in, and look at that. It has no more stretch to it. It is completely just stretched out. So we're just going to take it and cut it right off, which leaves us with these cups, which we're just going to place in here. And there's another connecting cup on the inside, but I'm not as concerned about this. We'll get that later after we clean the doll's arms off. Something else to note on the inside of these early Mattel dolls will be actually this little tag right here, and this tag will tell you exactly the year and month that this doll was made. The original Pleasant Company dolls will not have this, but the early Mattel American Girl dolls will have this little tag here, and it will tell you exactly the month and the year that your doll was made, which I find very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the rest of her limbs, and then we can get started on giving Kaya a really good deep clean. So I'm starting off with some cold water, and I'm going to mix in some CeraVe soap that's actually good for your skin. And I'm just going to mix that in there. Not a lot of it. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put in the buckskin and just let it sit there for a bit. As you can tell, it's not really that dirty, but it's always good to do it to be on the safe side, especially if you got something that had been donated. But really, that's it, you know, and it should be good to go. So I'm going to let this air dry. There we are. I should say that this dress is clean. Now that I've got my hot water going, it's time to get started on cleaning my doll. So I'm going to start with some dish soap. Spread it all around. Use my toothbrush. Get some baking soda and go to town. So after I'm done washing it with baking soda, I'm just going to go over it again with some dish soap. And this is just going to ensure that it is very clean, and I'm going to try to get in all the cracks where all of the baking soda may reside. Okay. And there we are, a nice clean limb. Now it's time that we get started on washing Kaya herself. So as you can see, like, she's got some marks going on. Her hair is really dry. So we're just going to try our best in making this Kaya doll look special again. Now, one thing you're going to try to avoid is totally submerging the doll's eyes into the water. However, you are able to get a lot of water out of her eyes by using a hairdryer on the cool setting, and then you're able to blow it out of there. And the reason why you don't want to submerge the doll's head completely is because their eyes have a metal case around them, and if you get it rusted, you could potentially damage your doll's eyes. So you just want to be careful whenever you are going around your American Girl doll's eyes. And I'm just going to try to get this soap all in the hair. Alrighty, so I'm going to start by scrubbing gently. I like warm water when I wash my dolls. Go, because I really want to get her smelling clean and looking clean. Now this could be a good tutorial also if you have any good dolls from Germany, as they are the original creators of the American Girl dolls. So now I'm going to take some hair conditioner. I'm going to use the kind that has the word moisture in it, and this is by Garnier Fructis, and it makes the doll's hair smell so wonderful after it's all said and done. I know a lot of people like to use Downy fabric softener for their American Girl dolls, which is fine. You can do you. I personally don't use Downy on doll hair, as it leaves sometimes the doll hair to be very sticky and very slimy, and it's not very cute at the end of the day if that happens. So I'm not going to start at the root, but I'm just going to go and freshen her up a bit right around here. And now we're going to start at the ends of the hair. Just go down with your comb. It really shouldn't be that bad. This doll was not in the worst condition ever. And now we're ready. And now Kaya is ready for her boil wash. This Kaya's hair fiber is kind of a hot mess. I would describe it as a nylon. I know some people like to think that it's Kanekalon, but this is definitely not. It is a different hair fiber altogether. I'm not really exactly quite sure what hair fiber it is, but I'm pretty sure that it is not Kanekalon. So I'm just going to put it right there on the top. Let it gracefully go down her tresses, like so. Now this is not boiling hot water by any means. And if it's getting sticky, you can dilute it with some cold water. There you go. Okay, try that again. Go all the way down. Okay. Take the brush. Go down. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get it as stick straight as we possibly can. I think that the second boil wash was far more successful. And now you can just stick a fine-tooth comb through it, and there you have it. It's wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my diluted gel, and I'm just going to pour it on top right here. And that's just to hold back all the baby hairs that she has. There we go. And boom. there we have it. If the first step to reattaching the limbs is by taking them off, our second step is going to be by putting in new elastics. So I'm going to start with the arms. You could either start with the arms or the legs. I'm going to leave them in there to soak for a bit in the hot water. And while I do that, I'm going to prepare my elastics. So I've got these little copper crimp sleeves, and this is the type that I used. You can get this at Ace Hardware or Lowe's or Home Depot. Really any kind will work. You can even use metal washers if you'd like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on like so. Once it's on the elastic, I'm going to crimp it down and make sure that it is nice and tight. There we go, and I'm going to pull on it just to make sure. So we've got one done. Now we're going to try to do this to all of them. So now that the vinyl is feeling kind of squishy, we want to take our needle nose pliers and go in and grab the plastic cup that's on the inside. It'll look just like that. I'm going to stick in my elastic like so. And then I'm going to reinsert it back into the arm like this. And there we have our new elastic. I'm going to do that again for this arm. I'm going to go in with my needle nose pliers, grab the cup, pull it out, grab the new elastic, stick it in like this, and then I'm going to stick it back into the arm like so. So now let's do it to the legs. Now the legs are probably squishy enough. There we go. All right, so we're going to do the same thing that we did in the arms. We're going to grab the cup that's on the inside and pull it out. We're going to take the new elastic and poke it inside. And then we're just going to take it and put it right back where it came from. And there we go. Now let's do it to the other leg. And there we are. Now something that I suspected was that the elastic that's on the inside is just dry rotted. And I don't know if you can hear this, but yeah, the elastic, it's not elasticating anymore. It's just cracking and crumbling on the inside. You could just hear it. Let's see, maybe this one will do it too. No, it's just stretching out. There's no give in this elastic anymore, which is kind of funny because the Pleasant Company elastic, like I've had dolls from the 80s that elastic is still stretchy, and dolls from the 90s that their elastic is still stretchy. I don't know why the early Mattel dolls have issues with like their elastic still not being stretchy. It could be that they were using some different types of elastic, some cheaper elastic, I don't know, but it's definitely something interesting to think about. So now we're going to reattach the limbs themselves. So we can start with the legs. All right. Make sure that you have the right leg going in where you want it to be. If not, you'll have backwards legs. So we're going to stick the cup right on top. So we're going to stick it just like this. If you can. There we go. Stick it right up top there. We're going to get another crimp and stick that right up top there. And we're going to pull. You don't have to pull like super taut. Just a little bit ought to do it. If you do it too taut, your dolls will appear to be like cross-legged. So I've made that mistake before myself. There we go. And there we are. That is a perfect, nice, tight limb. So we'll do it to the other ones. Okay, so again, you're gonna stick the plastic cup up top like so. We're gonna get another crimp right here. Stick that up there as well. Gonna pull, but you don't have to make it super taut. And go down and just crimp it. And there you are. That is another limb that is successfully on the torso. Gonna put the plastic cup on top. We're gonna put the crimp on top of that. We're going to pull, but not super taut. And crimp. And there we are. We have a nice limb. Let's do the other one. Stick it on the inside. Our last plastic cup. One copper crimp. Okay. And pull taut, but not super taut. And there you have it. You have some limbs that are now not floppy and loose. Before we put back in the stuffing, there's something to note. The little body tags on the inside of the early American Girl Mattel dolls will tell you exactly the month and the year that your doll was made. My doll was made in 2002, and it was made in, let's see here, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So she was made July 2002. The top row will give you the dates. It goes all the way to 2009. The bottom row will give you the months, and it's in alphabetical order. So now that we have the limbs reattached and everything, we're gonna go ahead and put back in her stuffing. So it's good to start off small. Just go on in and fill it all in. Make sure that you get the stuffing down to the bottom as well. There is a lot of stuffing here, so it would be wise to evenly distribute it all throughout the bottom. Something that you should also have whenever you are putting back in the stuffing is either a chopstick or a stuffing tool, and you'll just poke it all in the crevices down there. And just continue to pack in that stuffing. I swear, whenever I restore American Girl dolls, it always looks like a crime scene. If you find that your stuffing is going all the way to the top and you have some left over, that means it's not as firm at the bottom. So just pack it in as best as you can. Now that we have the torso fully stuffed, we're going to go in and put on her head like so. So what I like to do is I like to turn them around like this. Take the string and tie it as tight as I can, and try to push down your American Girl doll head while you're doing it, so that way you could get the tightest look as possible, which I think that will be it. Okay. Go in like that and like that. And there we go. Kaya's head is reattached. Her stuffing is back in her torso, and her arms and her legs now can hold a pose, and they're not at risk for falling off. Let's get to styling Kaya's hair. So we're gonna start by brushing it. And I'm so surprised by how good that boil wash did. I was kind of thinking that I was gonna have to flat iron, which it's not like I hate to do it, but it's so tedious. There we go. Okay, so now we're just gonna braid it. I'm gonna break her hair off into sections. There we go. And I'm just gonna start braiding it. So I would like to use a black rubber band, but all of those seem to just disintegrate after a couple weeks here in Florida. So I'm gonna just use my orthodontist rubber bands. They seem to last a little bit longer. And there we go. And there is Kaya with one of her braids. Now it's time to decorate Kaya's hair. By the way, before I put it in, I used to put it in like little hair ties like that when I was a kid. So getting this doll new has shown me that I was doing it wrong since the get-go. Let's see here. Put it around her like little buttons. So cute. Okay, there's one. Time to do the other one. And there is two. There we go. Try to get them the right level there. There. That's pretty. Okay, so now we're gonna do the lower braid right here. The buckskin ribbon. We are just going to tie this in a knot just like it was originally. And because this doll was never mine, I can't really account for where all of her accessories went, and I don't really know how long it was until my sister took out her braids, but I'm pretty sure my sister took out her braids like Christmas Day. That was one of the things that we did together, is we dressed our American girls for Christmas, because that day we were going to my Nana's house for Christmas and we wanted to show off our American girls. All right, and there she is. She is all ready to go. So now all we're waiting for is her clothing to dry, and then she will be ready. Okay, now Kaya is completely done. She's just not dressed yet, but look how beautiful she is. And she turned out so great. And look, no floppy limbs. She's absolutely perfect and gorgeous. This is exactly how I remember my sister's doll looking at Christmas morning. It's actually insane. Now, this came with her meat accessories, which this Kaya did not come with. She only came with a necklace. And the whole thing about American Girl is you would get your doll and they would be in a costume, and that would be called their meat costume, because that is how you meet them. And then with added $35, $40 purchase, you could get their meat accessories, which complete their look. So the looks that you get whenever you purchase them are not ultimately their final looks. You have to keep buying an accessory pack to get their final looks, and that's where you get to see them really shine to their full potential, even though they shine anyway just being on their own. But we'll go over here. We can look at the buckskin dress. It came out very nice. And here we have her shoes, which her shoes are really cool, and it has very unique construction and so much detail. The attention to detail that they used for Kaya is quite remarkable. And just the way that her outfit is made. And then we have her pleather belt, which is cracking, unfortunately, as we can see. But if I'm gentle with her, it's not cracking to the point of where it's, crumbling as I even touch it. If I'm gentle with it, I think that it will continue to last. It's just the vinyl itself, the painted material, just separating from the fabric underneath. So the vinyl overlay, which is what this is, is just coming undone. And I mean, who could blame it? It's from 2002. So, you know, it's had its run. It's over 20 years old. That pleather has really lasted. And honestly, again, like for pleather, this is not bad. Like it's fine. But now that we see the entire outfit, which by the way, let's go to the back. So Kaya's outfit is really beautiful. Number one, it is beaded, which is a really nice detail. And it has buckskin threads just hanging over top of it and creating all of these beautiful tassels and the fringe on the side. It's really nice. On the back, you get to see detail around the back. And one thing about American Girl is they've always used Velcro one way or another. That is probably the most unhistorically accurate thing that they have, you know, put on their costumes. But that's just keeping with tradition because, again, these are made for kids and they are fashion dolls at the end of the day, and they are meant to be taken on and off. But now that we've gotten a closer look at the garment, I think it's time that we put it onto Kaya. So here Kaya is completely all together. We'll do a 360 so you can see this beautiful doll in all of her glory. And you can tell that they took a lot of time on this one that they designed. And she is just so beautiful and so stunning. And I couldn't be any more happier with her. But you know what though? I think that it is time that we introduce her to my sister's childhood Kaya doll. So here are the two dolls together. This is the doll that I remember my sister opening up Christmas morning. And she has a couple variations about her. Each of these American Girl dolls, they're all different. You know, you can get the same doll the same year, and each doll is going to have their own different unique looks to them. So this doll, she went through a lot. My sister played with her very heavily, and we also played with our dolls outside, and she's a lot lighter than this one right here, and that is just simply because she is faded. Also on top of that, this is a replaced wig. I did buy this wig online because her original wig was ratted and cut, and my sister really put it through the ringer. And I remember at one point when we were kids, my mom was even talking about sending my sister's doll to the doll hospital to get a new head because my sister had like completely ruined it. But we never did that. And she also said that about mine too, and we never did that either. But yeah, we loved this Kaya doll. She is in her winter accessories. She's also wearing the original meat outfit, which there aren't any variations between the two. And that's just simply because, again, they're from the same year and they have the same markings. But there they are all together. So now my sister will still have hers, and I, of course, have mine. So we're gonna do a quick collection overview of my American Girl doll collection. This is my first one. This is the one that I got in 2002 or like 2001. Can't really remember what year, but I got her for Christmas. And I was so happy to have one of my very own. My sister had one for about a year. And then I got one for Christmas, and I ruined her right after I opened her. I accidentally scuffed her nose, but that's okay. I did sand it down about like maybe 2 years ago. So now her and I only know that story. So that's good. She does look a lot better than how she used to look. She used to look really, you know, really homely. Here's Claudie. Claudie was my Christmas present for my best friend Hallie about 2 years ago. And I love Claudie. I was obsessed with her. Love her skin tone. I love her hair, and I love her eyes. She's just so gorgeous. Here we have the 35th anniversary Molly doll. And that's whenever they came out with their classic American Girls again. And this was my last year's gift from my friend Hallie, and she gave me a beautiful doll of myself because we both missed out on the Barbie American Girl doll. So she made me her own, and I think it's so cute, and she did such a good job on it. And she said she did its makeup like mine, and I just think it's really funny because when I saw her, I was like, oh my god, she looks like a little drag queen, but I love her because I look like a little drag queen sometimes too.
And she means that.
And then as we move along, we have a Julie doll, and she's based in the 1970s, and I have her in her new, I think it's like her new school outfit, and I just think it's so beautiful. And as we're sweeping through, you probably see some other nice vintage dolls, like we've got Terry Lee here, who is a doll from the 1950s. She's from the 40s, 50s, and the beginning part of the 60s is when her line ended. We have a 1934 composition Shirley Temple doll. We have a Hamilton, I think it's by Hamilton Company, I Love Lucy doll. She's very cute. She looks very surprised too, which is, you know, very Lucille Ball at that time, but she's a part of my collection, and I believe that my kindergarten teacher is the one who had me cuddling with this during nap time, so I think that's really fun because she's made of porcelain, so that's cute. As we go on down, you'll see the rest of my collection. We have Nanea in the back next to Kaya. Nanea was my Christmas present. And then Kaya was my sister's, still is. I'm just holding on to her for now. Mary Ellen, I love Mary Ellen. I just adore her. And then we have Isabel, my white body Molly. This Molly is so cute, and I adore her. She came with her original outfits, and inside of her notebook binder from her school set was a note saying that I'm Molly and I love you, and it was by the little girl who owned her before, and I just thought that that was very sweet. We have Felicity. This is Felicity Merriman. This is the doll I really wanted as a kid, and I made sure to find one that looked like it was from the era from when my mom called and they said that they were sold out. And ironically, her body tag says that she was made in April, which is the month of my birthday, and she was made in 2001, according to her body tags. We go over here to my 90s Molly, and this Molly is a transitional Molly. She is a white body parts with a tan torso, because when Felicity came out in 1991, they had to change their torsos from having a white muslin to this tan khaki type of color, so that way they could wear her gowns, which by the way are plunging. Here is a mid-90s Felicity too, and she's wearing the summer outfit, and this is the outfit I wanted so bad as a kid. There's her little lamb. But again, here's Molly, and she's a transitional doll, and she's very lovely and very chubby. I love her. And then we have Samantha. This is a Samantha transitional doll. Again, she is using white body parts, which again, white body is from the cloth portion. And then over here, we have a white body Samantha. And white body Samantha and transitional body Samantha are almost interchangeable. They look just alike, but the only difference is she has a tan torso, and she also has a body tag in her head, a paper body tag in her head for no reason, which was put by the factory in there, which I found very interesting and intriguing. And then of course she just has a white body, but she's very beautiful. And then here is my Felicity again. We have a first edition kit from 2000 using old Pleasant Company parts. We have a white body Kirsten, who's very beautiful in her school outfit, and this is the original one with the division symbols. We have a new Kirsten, who I purchased sometime last year, and you can probably see that video of me getting her, and she's very special. I love her. And then of course we have the new one, Kaya. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it this far, if you liked it, please let me know by leaving a like, share, subscribe, and as well as leave a nice comment down there. I love to hear from all of you. And I just thank you all so much for watching this video. Which American Girl doll is your favorite? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite historical character? Let me know down below. And if you were to get one, which one would you choose? You can pick retired and of course ones that they are still selling today. I'm very curious to know why you would pick that character and why it's your favorite. So let me know. I really enjoyed working on these American Girl dolls, and I'm sure I'm going to work on several more in the future. I go through like these phases, like where I am American Girl crazy and then where I'm not. So currently right now I am just a little smidgen bit crazy for them. So I'm excited to open up the door again, the Pandora's box, so to speak. It's just, you know, kind of dangerous for me because they do cost a lot of money for a lot of the stuff, but I am super happy to have found this one at such a good deal. And finally, I feel like I can have one that I can hold and hug and love that's all of my own. Yeah, I'm just so over the moon and so happy. So I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day, and thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye.